Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. We are looking at the 11th verse last week, and we have concluded the 11th verse, which was about Mahata param avyaktam avyaktat purusha paraha purushanna param kinchit sa kashta sa paragatihi. And this is the ultimate, this is the maximum that you can go, that beyond the Mahat, beyond the Mahata is the Avyakta, beyond the Avyakta is the Purusha. Purusha is the ultimate. And this is the gradation that is told. Same gradation is told in Taittiriya Upanishad also. There it was told that, see the point, I'll tell you about that gradation, but the point is that there is only Purusha. Purusha, who is this? He is of the nature of consciousness, Satchidananda. Existence, consciousness and bliss. If he is the ultimate, if he is one without a second, if he is all that there is, then can you understand the connotation of that statement? Is it not equal to that there are not many consciousnesses? There is only one consciousness. Then what about you, me, so many? Today I was hearing in the news, 8 billion people on this planet. Imagine how many billions of creatures, animals, ants, birds, reptiles. So where are there that many varieties of consciousnesses? Or is it one consciousness enveloping every object? Is it many electricity? It is one electricity expressing through every bulb, every fridge, every heater, every washing machine, etc., 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 every gadget. It is one electricity. Objects are different, electricity is one. This body is one object, your body is one object, everybody is one object. And what is expressing through this? One consciousness. We can understand there is one electricity behind all different gadgets. Why is it so difficult to understand that there is one consciousness behind all the conditionings, all the objects called bodies? Why is it so difficult? Why do we complicate it? Why don't we accept it? Start thinking about it, start brooding over it, start pondering over it, that it is one consciousness. Then where am I going wrong? Where am I missing the point? So it is one consciousness, just like it is one light which is enveloping all the objects, and all the objects become available to you for cognition. And how is the light enveloping every object? From the outside. The sunlight is enveloping every object from the outside, therefore you are able to see the shape. It is enlivening each object from outside. Atma is enlivening every object from inside. Where is the difficulty? Where is the difficulty?
In the mind.
There is no difficulty. There is only the one consciousness. Be that consciousness. This is the Yamraj's teaching. Death is teaching the student. In other words, these are the words of death to you. Then we can bypass the death also. And naturally, death is only for the body. And that also is not possible. Body just goes back to the 5 elements and comes back again in another form. When we come to this Purusha principle, which is the para, which is the ultimate, which is the transcendental, there is no cause for this Purusha. When we come to it, there is nothing that is left to be known thereafter. It is beyond all this. It is beyond all creation. It is beyond beyond all objectivity. Let our mind, let our attention be fixed on this one consciousness, not objectively, subjectively. We saw in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hruddeshe iti tishtati. Ishvara is the material cause and the efficient cause of the whole creation. And how is he situated, expressing through the whole creation? By sitting in the heart of every being, every object. In the inert object, he sits as the existence. In the living beings, he sits as the consciousness, the Atman, which is existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is his nature. He is sitting. In Taittiriya Upanishad, I was telling you that there is the Ananda Mimamsa. Ananda Mimamsa is that you move from the basic unit of joy. You think you are joyful? It's pathetic joy. Imagine there the first basic minimum joy is given. Imagine a person, a king, who is the ruler of the whole earth, loved by all the citizens in his youth, has good faculties, no disease, all limbs are functioning wonderfully, all senses are working wonderfully, brain working, mind is very healthy, samskaras are very good, everything is at his beck and call. What will be his joy? 100 times his joy is that of the people of the Gandharvas. 100 times the joy of that is the joy of the Indra, Devas. 100 times the joy of the Devas is the joy of the Indra. 100 times the joy of Indra is the joy of his teacher, Brihaspati. 100 times the joy of Brihaspati is the joy of Brahmaji, the creator. See? The Purusha is beyond Brahmaji. In relativity, this is the maximum we can go to. And thus, when one reaches this Purusha principle, when the person, by focusing, by being attentive, reaches this Purusha Tattva, the Atma Tattva, at that very moment, the consciousness that I am floods the person completely. There is nothing thereafter. There's only pure consciousness, and the resultant ananda. The resultant ananda is it floods the mind, intellect, it floods the mind, it floods the senses. We have experienced that flooding of the ananda in tidbits here and there. Little bit here and there. Not all the time. But imagine, that is the glory of man. Only man can come to this point. And in this manner, we come to the Nachiketa is being urged by Lord of Death to understand that this God is the supreme existence. This God or Ishvara is the supreme, or the Purusha is the supreme consciousness, and he is also the supreme bliss, and one should meditate on that Ishvara or the Purusha, and you can contemplate on him in three ways. One is you can contemplate God as existence, or God as consciousness, or God as Ananda. We give ourselves many varieties, many different options, and then we get confused. And now, what is this methodology of meditating on this Purusha, on this supreme person, is told in the 12th verse. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu, esha sarveshu bhuteshu, gudhotmana prakashate, gudhotmana prakashate, दृश्यते त्वग्रयया बुद्ध्या, दृश्यते त्वग्रयया बुद्ध्या, सूक्ष्मया सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः, सूक्ष्मया सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः. Together. एष सर्वेषु भूतेषु गूढोत्मान प्रकाशते, दृश्यते त्वग्रयया बुद्ध्या, सूक्ष्मया सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः. He says that this esha sarveshu bhuteshu, gudhotman na prakashate. Na prakashate does not, is not accessible, is not seen, is not comprehended or known, or it is hidden. Where gudhota, gudha atma na prakashate. So here it says na prakashate, that it is not available. Why? Who is not available? That Atma, which is Esha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Gudha. That Atma which is hiding, which is hidden behind, within all the within all the elements, within all the objectivity. Remember what I told just now from the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hruddeshe iti tishtati. That Ishvara is everywhere and it is present in everything and being, in the heart of everything and being. And how is he in our heart? As the Atma. But do we consider ourselves to be Atma, or do we consider ourselves to be man, or ego, or doer, seer, hearer, toucher, waker, dreamer, sleeper? We are never considering ourselves as the continuous one. We are considering ourselves as the changing one. Always. With reference to eyes, we are the seer. With reference to mouth, we are the speaker, and so on. With reference to waking, we are the waker, dreamer. Have we considered ourselves even for once that we are the continuous principle, the unchanging principle, the Atma. And because we are carried away by all the expressions, the names and forms of this creation, even though this Atma is abundantly available all the time, but it's a gudha, na prakashate, Atma na prakashate. This Atma is not seen, it is not available to us. And therefore, drishyate tvagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshma darshibhihi. So, the sukshma darshibhihi, those who are wise people, those who are with a very, very fine single pointed mind, the sukshma darshivi, those who have a subtle vision, those who have fine tuned their faculties, meaning their senses and the mind, drishyate tvagraya buddhya, they alone are able to, here it says drushyate, means they are able to see it with a very fine and subtle intellect, buddhya, as the one who is before the buddhi. Because first came Atma, then came buddhi, then came mind, then came breath, then senses, in that order. So they are able to see it. See here. So let's see what our Shankaracharya says here. Esha Purushaha Sarveshu Brahmade Stamba Paryanta Eshu Bhuteshu Paryanteshu Bhuteshu Gudaha Samvritaha Darshana Shravanadi Karma Avidya Maya. विद्या माया कहाँ पे गया यार? विद्या माया पेज 94 विद्या माया माया छन्नोत एव आत्मा न प्रकाशत आत्मत्वेन कस्यचित्. Before I get into this, I apologize that yesterday we did only a bit of the Sambandha Bhashya. That is the Sambandha Bhashya is before the 12th verse. Before the 12th verse, where are we? I'm going all cuckoo here. Before the 12th verse, there was this commentary which we have not looked at. We will look at that and then we will go into the next one. So we are starting from Nanu and then going up till Sarvasya. And then we'll look into this verse, because that will give us a bit of foundation. I have given it to you already, but we didn't read it. And I am taking the Shankar Bhashya, so let's read that. Nanu gatihi chet agatyapi bhavitavyam katham yasmad bhuyo na jayate iti. This one we saw last week, that there was a doubt presented by the student. This is, Nachiketa has not presented this doubt. This doubt has come while Shankaracharya is writing the commentary, and he is thinking of a possible doubt that might come in the mind of a seeker. And he says that that if there is a movement in a particular direction, there must be a, that means then there should be an opposite movement also. Action, reaction. If you throw a ball on the wall, it will come back to you. If you go and stand in front of the mirror, it will reflect back to you. If you stand in front of your wife, your reflection of husband is created. If I am speaking something, you can ask the questions back. These things, wherever there is a gati, there is a agati also. wherever there is going, there is coming also. This is the student's question. So he's thinking, because in the previous verse it was told about birth and death, so he's saying wherever there is death, then there should be birth also. Wherever there is birth, there is death. This is one direction. But wherever there is death, there should be birth also. There should be coming back also. But you are saying that yat gatvana nivartante, that was the point, the last point of the 11th verse of commentary of Shankaracharya. Yat gatvana nivartante, that once a seeker has reached that ultimate destination, then there is no coming back. And so the student is asking, why is it said so in this manner? The teacher said, Naisha doshaha. There is no fault in that. Yad gatvana nivartante. There is no mistake when the scriptures are saying that way, because sarvasya pratyag atmatvad avagatihi eva gatiriti upacharyate. So, because the self being the pratyag atma, that it is the most immediate. The pratyag atma means immediate. Atmadvat gatireva gatiriti upacharyate. So therefore, from that point of view, knowing that atma as the immediate one, where there is no distance between you and the atma, that is called pratyagatma. As long as we are thinking about it, it is not pratyagatma. When we are being it, that is, and therefore we talk about the gati. Therefore, as an individual who does not know that we are the atma, for such a person there is a journey from individuality to the reality. But this journey is in his imagination. Actually speaking, there is no journey. So only for communication purposes, only because the seeker is thinking, has conviction that he is an individual, therefore this language is used, yad gatvana nivartante, that having reached there is no reaching and there is no coming back. There is no distance only, so where is the question of reaching? But at the vyavharik level, at the relative level, keeping in view that the student is asking or is established in relativity, is seeking the fulfillment of reality, but not recognizing that by nature he is reality. Therefore, this statement is made. Pratyag atmatvam cha darshitam indriya manobuddhi paratvena. Also, the indriya, the mind, indriya means the senses, the mind and the buddhi, they all express, they cannot express without the Atma, and therefore from these effects we can conclude that there is a seer behind, there is a thinker behind, there is a feeler behind, there is a hearer behind, and so on. And therefore these senses, mind and intellect, they cannot independently function. There is someone behind who is functioning. यो हि गंता सह अगतम अप्रत्यग रूपम गच्छन्ति अनात्मभूतम न विपर्येण तथा च श्रुतिः अनध्वगा अध्वसु पारयेष्णवः इति इत्याद्या तथा च दर्शयति प्रत्यगात्मा त्वं सर्वस्य. And in this manner, because the one who knows, the one who knows, or the one who is wanting to know, he is seeing the and is considering that the world. See, you are, let's take it like this. yo hi ganta so agatam apratyag rupam gachanti anatma bhutam. So here the one who knows, he is taking the whole world as separate from himself, and also because that is his natural disposition, that the whole world is separate to me, and now he is not, that idea that the world is separate from me, so he is moving away from the world, has got vairagya towards the world, and now he wants to move towards the Atma. And what is that Atma? Which he feels that he has not gained yet. And therefore, he wants to drop the world which is separate, and he wants to go to the Atma which he feels he does not gain, which he has not gained yet, because he does not recognize yet that he is that Atma. तथा च श्रुति अनध्वगा अध्वसु पारयेष्णवः. And so before that, na viparyena tatha cha shruti, and gachant, so he is moving, and the opposite of that is that Atma is never coming and going anywhere. Atma has not gone out of the senses, neither the Atma has ever gone, left the senses and gone inside. It is ever present, it is ever constant. But what are you feeling? You are feeling that I don't know that I am Atma. I have to reach the Atma. I have to reach the reality. And for that reality, I must give up the unreality. Why? Because I see this world which is of which I consider to be unreality. And therefore, I find that this world is creating too many. This is not written here. I am adding these words. That this world, I see the world as separate to me, and similarly I am seeing the Atma also separate to me. That has become my default setting. But Atma is not separate, because Atma does not come or go anywhere. And in this way, and so this is one fault. And therefore, here when it says anadvaga advasu para ishnava, etc., it says that if we consider ourselves to be samsari, if we consider ourselves to be worldly meaning, if we consider ourselves to be an individual, meaning if we consider ourselves to be born, if we consider ourselves to be this body, etc., such a person is a samsari. And the only way he can go beyond he can come to know the Atma, the reality, is when he goes beyond the samsar. In other words, again I'll put it, samsar also understand means where there is coming and going, where there is change. What we are talking till just in this Sambandha Bhasha is coming and going. Atma does not come and go. So until and unless we have not quietened the idea of coming and going, until unless we have not become immune to the coming and going, unless and until we have not become undisturbed by the coming and going. Where is coming and going on? It is going on at the worldly level. It is going on at the sensory level. It is going on at the breath level. It is going on at the thought level. It is going on at the intellect level, as waking, dream, deep sleep, waking, dream, deep sleep, coming and going. It is going on at the meditative level. We go into meditation, we come out of meditation. We go into meditation, we come out of meditation. All this coming and going has to, we have to recognize that we are other than all this coming and going. As long as we remain affected, enslaved, entangled, dependent identified with this coming and going. Till then, self-realization is only an imagination in our mind. So though here it is also told that such people, those who are living in this world as worldly person without contemplating on the self, for them living at the worldly level, considering that is real, for them there is no path available for self-realization because they are lost. Even if they want to look for a path, they can't find a path. Why? Every time they want to look for a path, the some attachment, some desire, some sensory stimuli will grab their attention and hijack their mind, because they have given the world, the impermanent world, more importance than the self itself. तथा च दर्शयति प्रत्येक आत्मा त्वं सर्वस्य. Also, the scripture, Shruti means the Veda, the Upanishad, is going to talk about the Purusha, which is the constant principle in everyone. And that I explained, just like electricity is the constant, objects are the changing ones. But it's the one electricity which is expressing through all the gadgets. Exactly the same way, you are the Atma. You are not an individual Atma. You are that self which is expressing from all the counters at the same time. This, if you take a chill pill in the dream, you alone are expressing through everybody in the dream. Because that every person, every object, every being, gross, subtle or causal, is nothing but your mind. And behind the mind, you are, the Atma is, the Purusha is. So that Purusha alone is expressing through every person in the dream. This you can understand, appreciate. If you can't even appreciate, then go and do some bhajan. Mind needs to be refined. Refinement of mind is from manyness to oneness. It must become single pointed. Only a single pointed mind, only a purified mind, only a refined mind is able to even appreciate these statements that are being made by the Upanishads. Now we come to the actual verse. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotmana prakashate drishyate tvagreya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhihi. And we are looking at the bhashya. Esha purushah sarveshu brahmadistvam पर्यंतेषु भूतेषु गूढ़ः सवृतः दर्शन श्रवणादि कर्म अविद्य अमाया. Where are we? 94. अमायात् छन्नोद एव आत्मा न प्रकाशत आत्मत्वेन कस्यचित्. So here he says that okay, this Purusha, the Supreme One. Remember the whole journey from sense. I'll repeat it for your benefit and my benefit. From senses, the cause of the senses is the Tanmatra. The cause of the Tanmatra is the mind. The cause of the mind is buddhi, intellect. The cause of the intellect is the Mahat Tattva or the Hiranyagarbha. The cause of the Hiranyagarbha or Mahat Tattva is the Avyakta. Cause of the Avyakta is the Ishvara or the Supreme Purusha. That Supreme Purusha we are talking about, Esha Purusha, that Purusha we are talking. We are not talking about the individual one. We are not talking about the demigods. We are talking about that one. We are not talking about electricity as light or electricity as heat or electricity as fan. We are talking about electricity as it is. That Purusha, that Supreme One, from Brahmaji, the creator, till the pillar on the earth, till the stone on the earth. He is hidden behind every one of them. So what is this? What are the planes of existences? The planes of, there are 14 planes of existences. The higher ones are Bhur, Bhuva, Swatapa, Jana, Maha, Satyam. The lower ones are what you call Atala, Sutala, the Patala, etc., etc. 14 planes of existences where creation is running parallelly. That one Purusha is expressing through all the planes of existence, and in each plane of existence there are multiple varieties. He is expressing through every one of them. He is expressing, but in a hidden manner. He is hidden behind all the variety from the ultimate creator, Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha, Mahat Tattva, from there up to the piece of grain or piece of stone or a pillar, whatever they have written here. And then he says that Guda Samvritaha दर्शन श्रवण आदि कर्म अविद्या अमायात छन्नोत एव आत्मा न प्रकाशत आत्मत्वेन कस्यचित्. And then the darshana, darshana is to see, shravana is to hear, and karma is the one who, the doer, the one who is expressing as the doer. Also avidya, avidya meaning maya. It is covered by all these. It is that one is covered by the darshana, the objects that are seen, by the hearing, by the meaning, by all the senses, by all the doing he is covered, and also he is covered by the ignorance or the Maya Shakti or the Maya principle. And this way, in this way, eva atma na prakashata atmatvena kasyachit, and therefore, because it is covered in this manner, he becomes as if unavailable. If such a teeny meeny moon is able, what is the moon size compared to the sun? It is not even 1/10. It is such a small insignificant compared to sun. But look at it, it creates eclipse. It covers the whole sun. See? What is covering your whole sun? Moon. If moon was further away from the earth, would it have been able to cover the sun? It's an optical thing. Even this small finger, if I put it in front of my eyes and look at the sun, I will see darkness. So even this small finger is able to cover the sun. So understand the rule. Closer the object, further away you are from the illuminating principle. So what you have to do? Create the distance between the object and yourself. The more clearly you will be able to see the the source, the spirit, the Atma. But what are we doing and what are we living as? We are living close to this body, we are living close to the relations, we are living close to the objects of the world, we are living close to our memories, we are living close to our expectations, desires, but we are not close to the Atma. You increase the distance. How do you increase the distance? Contemplate on the self. So here it says that the principle is being told that this the objects, basically the five senses, they are acting as a cover on the Atma. The mind is acting as a cover on the Atma. The ignorance is acting as a veil over the Atma. घूंघट के पट खोल तुझे पिया मिलेंगे. घूंघट is that veil. Remove the veil. But at this moment, the veil is of our identification. The veil is that we have taken this body to be real. This is the veil. This Maya, inexplicable. And what is Maya? That which keeps changing. This change, we have identified with this change. Create a distance with this change and you are back to your original nature. Continuing. Aho ati gambhira dukkha gahya vichitra maya cheyam yadayam sarvo jantu paramarthatah paramarthasat तत्वोपि एवं बोध्यमानोहम परमात्मेति न गृह्णति अनात्मानं देहेन्द्रियादि संघातमात्मनः दृश्यमानपि घटादिवद् आत्मत्वेन अहम अमुष्य पुत्र इत्यनुच्यमानोपि गृह्णाति. बाप रे, इतना लंबा सेंटेंस, but good. Aho. So, having thus this Maya, ati gambhira dukha gahya vichitra Maya. This Maya is very she's very deep, she is very difficult, and she is very inexplicable. You cannot work out the Maya. Remember, we cannot work out the change. We think we are standing in the river, but the river is moving water, so you can never catch the river. Exactly the same way. Just one example I given, just to get the idea. So this is it is very complicated, it is very unique, it is very inexplicable, vichitra Maya. Cheyam yadayam sarvo jantu paramarthatah. That even because of it, yadayam sarvo jantu paramarthatah, even though all the living beings in all species, or even in the take the living beings only, full stop, that even though by nature they are of the Atma Swarup, by nature they are the self, but because of this Maya, they even though they are by nature the Paramartha Swarup, they are of the nature of of this infinite reality. Uh, and even after, by scriptures, this is very important point, even after being reminded by the scriptures like Upanishads we are studying, and by the teachers, again and again they are both reminding these people. And what are they reminding? Tattvamasi. And what should be our experience? That I am of the nature of supreme reality. But they are not able to grasp it. Paramartha Satvo, Paramartha Sat, what? तत्वोपि एवं बोध्यमानोहम परमात्मेति न गृह्णति. No grunhati. They are not ready to accept that they are of the Paramatma Swarup. And what are the Shastras and the Acharyas? Acharya means the teacher. Again and again they are roaring away, pounding away this statement that we are of the nature of the truth. But we say we are not able to. We give lip service to it. We give lip service to, yes, I am of the nature of Paramatma. But there is no abidance in it. Only lip service. Only argumentation. Only discussion. Only imagination. Only conviction. No abidance. Why? Only one reason. We are too close to the samsara. When we are too close to the samsara, we are under the clutches of Maya. When we create the distance between samsara and ourselves, meaning when we discriminate, discrimination is between the real and the unreal, the changing and the constant, the permanent and the impermanent, then the effect of Maya slowly, automatically, you don't have to do anything. The effect of the Maya starts depleting, dissolving. Because you are coming closer to her boss. And the boss is not affected by Maya. She has got no jurisdiction there. Paramatmeti na grunati anatmanam dehendriyadi sanghatamaatmanah drishyamanapi. So here he says, instead, though so here घटादिवत आत्मत्वेन अहम अमुष्य पुत्र इति अनुच्यमानोपि गृह्णाति. Instead of trying to realize that I am of the nature of Paramatma, which the scriptures and the teachers are again and again declaring, instead, because of their acceptance that of themselves as the body, they keep they keep repeating what, that I am born, I am the son of this person, and they take the body to be I, they take the being the son as I, they take being the father as the I, they take the age as the I, and so on, and they lose the plot. What can be done? Nunam parasya eva mayaya मोम्ह्यमानः सर्वः लोकः बभ्रमीति. It says, indeed, nunam, indeed, parasya eva mayaya momuhyamana, that she has hypnotized the whole world. Momuhyamana. Who has hypnotized the world? Maya. And what has she done? That certainly by the Maya, the whole world is hypnotized, and the whole world is hypnotized, or the whole world is living in this what you call Brahma. Brahma is imagination. What is that imagination? That I am the body, that I am the sun, that I am a seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, taster, thinker, I am the waker, dreamer, sleeper. All this is on account of accepting yourself as the body alone. I am only this body. तथा च स्मरणं न अहम प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः. गीता इत्यादि. गीता chapter 7, 25th verse. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is saying, na aham prakashah sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha. It is due to this, when Maya has covered, then I am not available to all the people. I am not able to, I am not available to the seeker on account of the Maya, or in other words, Naham Prakasha. I am not seen as the light of all lights. I am not seen as the illuminating principle because of the Maya which has covered. This, and here it says that this is told in the Bhagavad Gita. So whenever a statement is made in Bhashya, Shankaracharya has a very beautiful way that he makes a statement, takes each word of the Upanishad, he makes a comment on it, he gives some examples, then reiterates it with the statement, and then brings a conclusion. And here, and also at this, he also establishes the point or the discussion underway by similar quotations from other scriptures to prove the point. Nanu viruddham idamuchyate matva dhiro na shochati kathopanishad na prakashate kathopanishad iti cha. By knowing it, by knowing the Atma, it means Atma, matva dhiro na shochati, having known that the wise people do not become miserable. Who? By knowing what? By knowing that reality, by knowing that self which is immediate, which is not far away from you, which is not objective in nature. You are that. So by knowing that one, the wise people, they do not become miserable. Na prakashate, and that Atma, that self, is not known, is not illumined, is not known. So the student is saying that here, if it is said that way, that this Atma is not known, then this is a opposite statement. This is not right. So the teacher says, na etad evam. No, it is not like that. Then asanskrita buddhehe avigneyatvanna na prakashata ityuktam. So as I said before, this Atma, the teacher is answering that why you are getting the wrong meaning, that that the hidden Atma is not known. If you're coming to the wrong conclusion, because the intellect, the buddhi, the intelligence is corrupted. It is not pure. And those who have a corrupted intellect, for them this Atma, this self is unavailable, is unknowable. When it says na prakashate means not knowable. Prakash means consciousness. Consciousness means knowledge. So not knowable, not knowable, and therefore 95. 94, 95, 96. Ityuktam दृश्यते तु संस्कृत्या अग्रया अग्रमिव अग्रया तया एकाग्रतया तयोपे एकाग्रतयोपे एकाग्रतयोपे तयेति एतत्. So he says that therefore thus this is said that it is not knowable because of the impurity of the intellect, impurity of your faculty. So you purify your faculty, automatically these statements and the subtle nuances, they will become one will be able to understand. And therefore दृश्यते तु संस्कृत्या अग्रया. So that one so how is it going to be available? Here the sadhana is given. Agramev agraya taya ekagratayope tayeti etat. It is only possible when it is only going to become available, it is only going to become knowable, jnatavya. When one first was told you have impure intellect, therefore you are not able to understand, you are coming to wrong conclusions, that you cannot come to know. Now how do we purify the impure intellect? Ashuddha buddhi, how do we make it into Shuddha buddhi? We make it Shuddha buddhi by having samskar, by living a sattvic life, by living a correct life. And what does correct life mean? Correct life just doesn't mean eating good food and drinking good water and wearing good clothes, etc., etc. Those are basics, certainly. But samskar, that is at the outside level. Don't disturb anyone, don't get disturbed by anyone. Live a disciplined life. These are samskar. And tikshana, ekagrata. Ekagrata means single pointedness, and by a single pointedness and subtle intellect, when our thinking has become focused, concentrated, single pointed, only for such disposition of our intellect, that this सूक्ष्मया सूक्ष्म वस्तु निरूपणपस्या परया. Acha, okay, that's the next question. So that when a single pointed mind is continuously contemplating and with a focused intellect is contemplating on it, then it may reveal itself. Kaihi सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः इंद्रियेभ्य पराह्यर्थाः इत्यादि प्रकारेण सूक्ष्मता पारंपर्य दर्शनेन परम सूक्ष्मं द्रष्टुं शीलं येषां ते दर्शिनः तैः सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः पंडितैः इति एतत्. Kaihi means to whom it will be seen, to whom it will become available, to whom it will be knowable. The teacher is himself asking the question. Student hasn't asked the question. He is answering the question that the student has asked in the that nanu viruddha midi uchyate, why you are talking opposite of what the statement you made and all that. So here he says that to whom to whom it becomes available, to who are able to see that reality or the Atma Tattva. The teacher says, where Sukshma Darshibhihi, those who are subtle in their thinking, those who are subtle in their disposition, to them alone it is available. See, for very, very simple, when you are looking at the world, you cannot imagine. When you are imagining, you are not looking at the world. Where is the imagination? Inside the mind. Inside the mind. Where is the world? Outside the mind. So this is called gross world. What is the world inside the mind? It is called imaginary world or the subtle world. So to whom? Sukshma Darshibhihi, those who are with a subtle intellect or subtle vision or subtle knowledge. Subtle knowledge necessarily means single pointed mind. Subtle knowledge is available. This subtle knowledge is not on account of examples. This subtle knowledge, subtleness, this single pointedness is that disposition where there is no objectivity, where there is no space, air, fire, water, earth, there is no otherness. It is only single pointedly, to the exclusion of everything else, is only contemplating on that Atma Tattva, on that self. And this is told, and then it says, he is qualifying that statement. What is that Sukshma Darshibhihi? Indriyebhya parahyarthaha. That just like we told you in the beginning, that compared to the senses, the objects are subtler, and from objects, meaning the tanmatras, and subtler than tanmatra is the mind, subtler than the mind is the intellect, subtler than the intellect is the Mahat Tattva, subtler than the Mahat Tattva or Hiranyagarbha is the Avyakta, the unmanifest, subtler than the unmanifest is the Ishvara. And when you go beyond the Ishvara and the Avyakta, Ishvara knows that he is the Supreme Purusha, the Supreme reality. And that Supreme reality only with reference to Avyakta is called as Ishvara. So this is the gradation of subtlety. 6-7 steps are there. So compared to that, the senses, oh, I can see. But it is the same 5 elements which have become the senses also, and which has become the element, all the objects also. And the 5 elements are playing through. These eyes are made up of 5 elements. The world is also made up of 5 elements. So 5 elements playing with each other. So which is more subtle? It is the 5 elements. So what is, and where are these 5 elements? Can you know these 5 elements without your mind? No. So who is subtler than the 5 elements? The mind. Who knows the mind? I know the mind. So buddhi, I is where the buddhi is, or buddhi is where the eye is expressing. Who is subtler than the buddhi, than the eye? Oh, the Hiranyagarbha. Who is Hiranyagarbha? Where all the eyes are available. All possibilities are available. Where did this Hiranyagarbha come from? Oh, it came from the nothingness, from the Maya, from the avyakta, from the unmanifest. Oh, then what is the cause of unmanifest? If nothing became everything, then where did nothing come from? Ah, good question. It came from Purusha. It came from Ishvara or Purusha. How can you say, how can nothing come from someone? Hey, stupid, you are also experiencing it. You say, I had a good sleep, it is nothingness. How can you have nothingness? How can you have an experience of nothingness? If you can have experience of nothingness, can't Ishvara have? We forget. Ready to judge Ishvara, but yourself enjoying the sleep. Why can't he enjoy? He also knows. He knows more than we. But to know what he knows, we need to go through this gradation again and again, contemplate on this subtlest. And this is the way to make your mind single point. Ekagra, ekagra, sukshma vastu. So make so in this manner, if we contemplate on this gradation of subtlety again and again and again, then just like then we'll become habituated to contemplate, think about that subtlest Purusha. Right now, what has happened? We are appreciating, we are welcoming the thoughts of the world, and again we are thinking about the world. So our mind has become habituated to think about the world. When our mind again and again thinks about this gradation of subtlety, senses, subtle than senses, tanmatras, subtle than tanmatras, mind, subtler than mind, buddhi, subtler than buddhi, mahattattva, subtler than mahattattva, avyakta, subtler than avyakta, Ishvara, subtler than Ishvara, the Purusha principle. When we again and again keep repeating it, suddenly one day, yeah, I'm repeating it again and again. What does it mean? Then you start thinking. Or if you are listening right now, you understand this is the gradation, whether you remember the Sanskrit or it doesn't matter. I'm speaking in English. You understand the subtlety that I am the subtlest one in essence, which is the source of everything and everyone. Then our mind will become habituated by this one, because this contemplation is going to give you more fulfillment, more joy than any outward involvement in the world is ever going to be able to give you. The question is, are you ready to go inwards? Contemplate in this manner. इत्यादि प्रकारेण सूक्ष्मता पारंपर्य दर्शनेन परम सूक्ष्मं द्रष्टुं शीलं येषां ते सूक्ष्मदर्शिनः तैः सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः पंडितैः इति एतत्. So in this parampara vichar, meaning what I am teaching you is not my own imagination. I am not teaching you from my imagination. I am teaching you according to parampara, according to our lineage. What is I'm teaching you? I am teaching you how my teacher taught me. I am teaching you how did he teach me, how his teacher taught him. What did he teach? What did his teacher teach? What his teacher taught him. So, who was the first teacher? Shankaracharya was the first teacher. What did he teach? This is what we are reading. So, this unfoldment of knowledge, because verse is one, but see how much in detail Shankaracharya ji has written about that one verse. being Esha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Gudhotmana Prakashate Drishyate Tvagraya Buddhya Sukshmaya Sukshmadarshibhihi, left alone by ourselves. Us, I'm not talking about wise people, us, we will never take that verse in such depth. So, what are we doing? We are just parrots. Whatever we learn from our teacher, we are repeating it to you. And in that repetition, on my part, I become available to that subtlest of the principles. And while listening, you become available to that subtlest of the principle. Then the job is done. It is ever done. It is only recognition. But recognition will come only for one who is single pointed. And therefore, here it is told that uh, when we contemplate according to the parampara, then the vision is developed to see that unseeable. Uh, Such people are called the Sukshmadarshi. That was what told before. Sukshmadarshi bihi. So that word is being explained in these five lines. That these are Sukshmadarshi. Such Sukshmadarshi Panditaihi, the knowledgeable ones, the self reveals. They are able to see it. How they are able to see it? Atmatvena, not as an objective like I am seeing you, not like that. They are able to. This is the meaning of this particular verse. Tat pratipatti upayamaha. So, in this manner, what is the methodology now? Now here, the laya prakriya is given in the next verse. This was the methodology. And the principle was given. What was the principle? That if your intellect, we are not talking about mind, we are talking about intellect. What is your conviction? If your conviction is that the world is real, then you will continue to pursue and involved in the world, want to grasp the world, want to secure the world, want to enjoy the world, want to have more and more experiences in the world. For such people, the self is not available. For such people, this knowledge of the self will not be possible. They will not even go on that path. They may give lip service, they may ask right questions, but they can never go to have the experience. Then what is to be done? Only those people who have a single pointed mind, and that single pointed mind is not created, is not come about. Because sometimes you see, you all know, when we were in the beginning, we used to open any book, and today what is the message that the Lord is going to give, and we'll take one book out of our bookshelf and we'll open one page. Oh, this is my message today, and we used to contemplate on that. Or and next day we will open Bhagavad Gita. Oh, this is the meaning. What did you understand? Ananya, some verse will come. So it was ad hoc, just in a flippant way we were following the spirituality. So what is told here? How do you make your mind single pointed? Paramparagat, with samskar. Samskar meaning with full self control, and through a proper teacher, through a proper systemized way of understanding. Not just take this verse and sit in conversation. You should know the whole process. We have not reached this verse from the beginning. Beginning was something else. It is the whole story, how it is developing, and again it is being told that the basic necessity is a single pointedness of mind, and single pointedness of mind can be created under fear, it can be created under desire, it can be created In anger also, it is your single pointed expectation which is not getting fulfilled, so you become angry. Irsha is, all emotions are coming because of single point. But where is our single pointed attention? Is our single pointedness come about as a result of self contemplation, or has the single pointedness of mind come about by uh, observing the world, looking at the world, wanting the world? So, where are we? So, in this manner, the self is hidden in a unique manner within all of us. It is not like a treasure which can be, you dig the soil and you take out the treasure. You say, I got it. It is not like that. Then how is it? It reveals. And this secret way in which it is lodged, uh, uh, the secret way that it is lodged within us and is not available for our perception due to our own imaginary difficulty. Even though we are that, it is not available to us, and it's only because we are not giving it enough attention. You give attention to money, money will come to you. You give attention to the child, he will feel fulfilled. He will not have any complex. He will not seek attention. You give attention to the body, you will exercise and keep it fit. You give attention to the self, it will reveal itself. It will reveal itself. But we are not ready to give it attention. Why? I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. Always something is to be done, and therefore, come to know that this Atman, this self, this reality that I am is hidden behind the senses, it is hidden behind the mind, it is hidden behind the intellect, it is hidden behind the Hiranya totality, it is hidden behind the nothingness, the avyakta, the unmanifest. It is behind everything. And who is behind everything? The self is. And in this way, therefore, we cannot open our eyes and see Him. It has to be a revelation from within. It has to be a recognition from within, and therefore, when the verse says that what? Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudaha atma na prakashate. Gudha is it's a deep secretive. It's that unavailability of the atma to the senses or the mind or the intellect or the totality or the unmanifest. Unavailability to these of that ever existing Atman, ever existing reality, even though it is always, but it is not available. This is expressed by one word in Sanskrit, Gudha, the hidden one, the secretive. This is the beauty of our language. And thus, a little bit of effort, if we put towards this direction, but what is that little bit effort? That little bit effort is a complete sacrifice of yourself to yourself. Uddharet atmana atmanam na natmanam avasadayet. You have to raise yourself. Here the Bhagavad Gita says you raise yourself by yourself, in yourself, for yourself. But here we are saying you totally sacrifice yourself, your personality, your family, your all your fears, everything that you have propped yourself on at the altar of this Purusha, at the altar of this principle. Then one can begin walking this path, otherwise, not possible. And now we'll look into our next verse in our next class, the 13th verse. We'll look at it, read it now, and then look at it next week. यच्छेद्वाङ्मनसा प्राज्ञः यच्छेद्वाङ्मनसा प्राज्ञः तद्यच्छज्ञान आत्मने तद्यच्छज्ञान आत्मने ज्ञानमात्मनि महति न्यच्छेत् ज्ञानमात्मनि महति न्यच्छेत् तद्यच्छेत् शान्त आत्मने Tadyachet Chanta Atmani. It says together again, Yachedvang Manasa Prajnaha Tadyachadnyana Atmani Jnana Atmani Mahati Nyachet Tadyachet Shanta Atmani. So here the lay prakriya, I told you, dissolution of the gross into the subtle, subtle into the causal, causal into the total cause into the unmanifest, unmanifest into the Purusha principle. This process is called lay prakriya. Another way of lay prakriya is merge the earth into the water, water into the fire, fire into the air, air into the space, space into total space into the mental space into the conscious space. This is called laya prakriya. So here also another prakriya is laya prakriya is being given, that an intelligent person, a discriminative person, he withdraws, yes, that's the word, withdraws the speech and the senses and the mind into the buddhi, and the buddhi into the mahat tattva, and the mahat tattva into the transcendental peace, which is not other than the Atma itself. We'll talk more about it in our next class. ॐ पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Just sit quietly for a few moments. Hari Om everyone.